Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to be here. I'm Bob Tammen from Sudan, Minnesota. My wife and I are retirees. My wife Pat taught in Ely for over 30 years, and I worked in several of the mines around here. As a matter of fact, it's interesting to be here because during the 60s, before I was civilized by matrimony, I lived here. And during the 70s, I helped build Hibbing Taconite. And I'm particularly pleased that you toured Hibbing Taconite because it kind of proves a point that I like to make. Having a huge mining operation right out your back door does not necessarily create a healthy community. I know it's kind of counterintuitive to some people, but if you look at the statistics, over the last 10 years, Hibbing schools are losing enrollment. And we've got that huge mining industry that you saw this morning right out the back door. And so with that, I'll read you a little list. Coleraine, Bovine, Taconite, Marble, Calumet, Pengelly, Nashua, Keewautin, Kelly Lake, Hibbing, Kitsville, Chisholm, Buell, Kenny, Mountain Iron, Parkville, Virginia, Evelyn, Sparta, Gilbert, McKinley, Bowatic, Pineville, Aurora, Hoyt, Lakes, Babbitt. That's over 24 communities along the length of the Mesabi Range. These are mining towns. There's not a healthy main street in the bunch, not one. If mining industry created healthy communities, we should have one by now. With that, I'd like to address some of the other claims made today about the lengthy permitting process. I think we failed to mention one of the main reasons why this permitting process has been so lengthy for Polymet. They have a crappy mining plan. The holdup is not our permitting process. The holdup is when the Environmental Protection Agency, with sound scientific reasons, said that their mining plan was unsatisfactory, inadequate. As Mr. Worker alluded to, they want to dump their copper mining tailings on top of iron mining tailings, and a tailings pond that's already leaking, and when they sent in their draft EIS, it was leaking in violation of Minnesota discharge standards. And this was done with the cooperation of the Minnesota DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers. They produced a defective mine plan. The problem is not our permitting process, the problem is their defective mine plan. And I think you should realize that every taconite tailings pond on the Mesabi Range is leaking. Some more polluted than others, but they're all leaking. We have a mess to clean up before we permit another mess. We shouldn't be in a mad rush to permit before we clean up our existing messes. And of course, I'm here with a lot of criticism. I suppose I ought to make a suggestion for what we can do for the economy of northern Minnesota. And I think one important thing we could do is to quit rebating tax dollars to the large taconite mining corporations. Now, you've heard several people testify today how much taxes the mining companies are paying to our state, to our community. Not one. Not one of them mentioned how much we're rebating to those same mines. It's a revolving door for our money. You can check the IRRB website. They've rebated $192 million right back to the mining industry since 1993. And I think my message would be not that we want to pull the plug on the mining industry. We want to do some honest diversification. That $192 million could have made a lot of difference to the communities that I just read off to you. It would have made a lot of difference to the schools, to a large international mining company. I don't believe it really meant anything to them except it showed them, or allowed them to show us who's boss. With that in mind, I would ask for your continued support for northern Minnesota. And I see a few people here from the southern part of the state, and I know once in a while our Iron Range legislator like to beat up on you a little bit. And so I'm going to give you a little attaboy, because we're sitting here in Hibbing, Minnesota, that has a biomass plant. And that biomass plant is selling its electricity to Xcel Energy at a very nice little price. In my younger days, in addition to working in the mines, I did a little time working on the windmills in southwestern Minnesota. Typically, they sell their power for less than a nickel a kilowatt. The good people of southern Minnesota are subsidizing our biomass plant to the tune of over 10 cents a kilowatt. And with that, I give, again, my appreciation for you coming here, and I'll leave it up to the next speaker. Thank you.